Today's going to be a quick video because I'm limited on time today. So I went through my gigantic list of topics to find something that I can just pound out real quick. Giggity. And this topic is a little interesting. This will be damage dealers that you want to swap out for if maybe one of your monsters die in the middle of the raid. Yeah, the best option is don't have your best damage dealers die. But I'm going to give you options just in case that happens anyway. Or maybe you want to optimize your damage. These monsters will help with that. If you like my videos and like my content, hit the sub button, hit the like button, hit that bell dingy dingy thing so you know when I post a video. Let's go, baby. Tip of the day. I mean, it's kind of a tip. It's more of an achievement. I finally got my Argon today. Definitely need some work and runes, and I need 2 more devil mods to max mount. But like I said in multiple videos, play the exchange pieces shop. You can get any Nat 5 you want. Throw away the shards of the monsters that you do not want, and use those to get the Nat 5s you do. My main focus is right now for shards is Fire Valk, Wind Polar Queen, Wind Jack-o'-lantern, and Fire Vampire. But I currently am out of shards to use. But I do have a summon session coming up since I finished Cleef's area exploration and main story, and the TOA reset, and hitting Master 3 in both Arena and Brawl Arena. This is not a sprint, it's a marathon. The more you know. Alright, like I said, these are the best monsters that if one of your monsters die in the middle of the raid, to swap in for. You could even use some of these monsters to swap in for other damage dealers if you want to optimize your DPS. You'd really have to test it out and see who you would want to swap out for and when to do it. I'm going to give you a top 5, but also have one notable mention. My one notable mention is Lich Fuko, or you can pronounce his name the other way, but come on, I'm trying to be appropriate here, and that's really hard to do, me be appropriate. Anyway, if the enemy's HP is below 50%, he does 20% extra damage. The problem with Fuko is he only has one ability that does damage, and it's a 5 mana cost. So technically, if he just has one skill that does damage, you would want him on a Soul Link, and you can spam that skill. However, it's a high mana cost, and it's just not worth. That's why he didn't make the top 5 list. But let's get to number 5. Number 5 on the list is Dark Charger Shark Calicus. Calicus can be good if one of your damage dealers die, and the boss is at low HP. He does 3 hits of 278% of his attack, and also 10% of target's lost HP of every hit. So the lower the enemy's health, the more damage he's going to do. You put him on a Soul Link and it's a 3 mana cost so you can spam it. The more HP that the enemy has lost, the better he performs. Number 4 on the list is Fire Inugami Rauk, and you can get him for free and max awaken just through getting shards in the shop. And as well as summoning, obviously. In my opinion, Fire Inugami works a lot better on Soul Link, but you have the option to run him as a non-Soul Link DPS as well. So he's a good option if your team is running 2 damage dealers. One that's a Soul Link and one that's not. If any one of those monsters die, he can step in to replace. His second skill has a modifier of 732%. Plus 25.9% of the target's lost HP is damage. It's a low mana cost, so you can spam this if he is a Soul Link. But if you put him in for a damage dealer that died that's not Soul Link, he will work just as well. Because his second skill is a pretty good damage modifier, and if the enemy's health is below 30%, he has a chance to... And if the enemy's health is below 30%... And if the enemy's health is below 30%... And if the enemy's health is below 30%, he has a chance to use Annihilation, which is his first skill. So getting an extra skill off with this damage. Not to mention he has a chance to defense break 2 on his basic attack. Also, as a non-Soul Link, his skill cooldowns are very low at 18 seconds. Pretty good option, especially when the enemy is below 30% health. Number 3 on the list is a surprise. Wind Grim Reaper Hiva. I got this recommendation to check him out from my friend Drake, or Dryak. I don't know how you pronounce your name, man. I'm sorry. I'm gonna call you Drake. But he said, hey, check out Wind Grim Reaper. I said, I got a lot of projects going on, but okay. I still have a little bit more testing to do, but I did max him out. However, what makes Hiva good? He has to be a Soul Link, so it's not really beneficial to put him as a non-Soul Link, but if you put him as a Soul Link and the boss's health is low, Hiva's second skill does 764% of his attack for modifier, but it also does 27% of the target's lost HP. But what makes this crazy good is that it's a 2 mana cost. You can literally spam this skill, and if you have any type of mana regeneration, it's literally non-stop. So if your Soul Link damage dealer dies, you can put Hiva in if the enemy boss is low, not to mention his basic attack also does 5% of the target's lost HP as damage. So you're spamming that 2 mana cost and while attacking basic attack, doing some pretty decent damage. Number 2 on the list is Dark Imp Garak. You can use him as a Soul Link or you can use him as a non-Soul Link. This is why I put him over Windgrim Reaper. What makes Dark Imp so good is his passive. When the target enemy health is below 50%, his damage dealt up is 50% more. That's skills and basic attacks. Both of his skills are decent cooldowns of 20 seconds, and each skill costs 3 mana cost, which is good to spam on Soul Link. I have him max as well, and I do use him from time to time. He can hit pretty hard, but only bring him in if the enemy is below 50%. Alright, now for number 1. You can really use this monster PvE and PvP. And I feel like this monster in general is overlooked a ton in every single element. However, number 1 on the list for best monsters to swap in for. Fire Magic Knight Aster. Or a star. A star would probably be more appropriate. But come on, it's me. Aster. Aster is a very unique monster. And personally, I like attack speed based monsters a ton. Especially on non-Soul Link. But the good thing about her is you can use her on Soul Link as well. And like most damage dealers, the majority of them are better on Soul Link anyway. Especially 5 stars because you get their ultimate. But let's talk about Aster. She's an attack speed based monster. Swift Blade or Rage Blade. Attack speed, crit damage, attack. She really shines when the enemy is below 20%. But let's talk about her basic attack. When the enemy is below 20%, she has a 50% chance to proc Sword Mission. Obviously, the more attack speed, the better, because the chance that this will proc will obviously be more because you're attacking more. But once this procs, her basic attack does 871% of her attack. The damage is increased based on her attack speed, and damage dealt is increased by 1% for every 1% the enemy's health is missing. So if the boss has 75% lost health, she will have a damage dealt up of 75%. Huge basic attack. 50% rate is really good as well for a basic. First skill isn't too much, but again, attack speed monsters work well on non-Soul Link, so it's okay. Just some extra damage here. Now her second skill, which is huge, especially if you Soul Link it, you spam it for 3 mana cost, hits the enemy target 3 times, each hit doing 300% attack. Damage increases based on her attack speed, but again, also damage dealt up 1% per the target enemy's lost HP. So again, if the enemy has 75% health gone, damage dealt up 75%. And her passive, even crazier. If her attack speed is higher than the target's, her attack goes up 40%. 40%! Not to mention if you have her on Soul Link, her ultimate hits the enemy 10 times, 166% per hit, also increased from her attack speed, and again, damage dealt up the same. 1% increase for 1% missing from the enemy. In my opinion, Aster is in the top 5 talk for best single target damage dealer. She is, in my opinion, number 5. But that's a whole different video. But like I said, Aster gets a lot better later on in the fight. And that's it for today's video. Just wanted to make this short and sweet. I got some more content coming out this week as usual, but I was short on time, so I wanted to do this today. And as always, if you like my videos, like my content, sub, like, ding a bell. I'll see you in the next one. Peace!